Howdy, welcome in. Today we'll be discussing San Antonio and Texas greenhouse gas emissions and just looking at the different plans they have in place for the two. My name is Walker Pierce. I'm a senior at UTSA and environmental science major. Let's go ahead and get into this. We'll go and discuss San Antonio's emissions first. Just looking at their plan they have in place, it's going to be called the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, and that's all about trying to reach that carbon neutral, as everyone is trying to chase that Paris Climate Agreement and get into that climate neutral by it was 2050, so in between 2030 and 2050. So these are the greenhouse gases that sanantonio.org has tracked in their actual reports, is what I found. And what they have reported as the global warming potential here for 128 and 265, showing the worst and what they're trying to reduce here. So if you see the GHG in these reports, that's just greenhouse gases, and that's how they actually just made it shorter. I pulled both of these from the sanantonio.org website and their reports. So this is what's showing what they want to reach by 2030, and this is the previous dates that they have here, and where we should be sitting currently about here. And it's hard to find the actual numbers for at this moment. The best I could do was that 2021, 2022 timeframe. But to reach the goal here for the metric tons of CO2e being produced at 10 million, it would be seeing an average decrease of 4% each year. But they've been hitting about 2% and 2.8% over the past few years. So we're going to need a very big and dramatic change if we want to reach our goal by 2030. It also has the per capita for our inventory emission trends. I mean, San Antonio's growing constantly, and it's expected to keep growing over the next 10 to 15 years, almost doubling in population, actually. And the good news is, I mean, we're still decreasing overall in metric tons of CO2e per capita. That's what we want to keep on track. The emissions at a glance. So these are the top three here in San Antonio. We want to really focus on reducing. You want to focus on the other ones as well, but these are the three major ones that you can see like bigger changes in. So we want to know our top three and we want to reduce our top three. All right, now we're going into Texas. So out of all the states here in the United States, Texas has been number one for the worst producer of greenhouse gases. So we beat California as number two by double and all the other states by a lot more than that. So the Texas has a plan as well in place that it's called the Priority Action Plan and the Comprehensive Action Plan. And they do their own status reports every few years to see where it's actually heading. They use grants and other things to try to put money into this program. So the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ, is where I got all the information for everything, and as well as the graphs and what they're tracking in their report would be these things listed here. And again, you want to try to get those top three, knock down as much as you can and focus on those to try to reduce all of your emissions in those three major zones while looking at these to make sure they're not increasing. So I pulled these graphs from their report and what their projected models are by 2050, where we want to be at. And this is their business as usual. So if this plan wasn't in place, that's kind of where it would be sitting. But with their plan in place, this is what we're trying to get to. So as you can see, some of these aren't the exact same units. So I mean, it's going to be 200, and this one actually goes down to 180. So a lot of these decreases is actually more than you think. So this was at 100. This is at 100 now. So you see a lot of that decrease right here in that that industry. You want to lose that industry. I mean, you can see some decreases in the blue here for buildings and their electricity production, and as well as the red here for that transportation and geoengineering. We want to keep getting rid of those bigger ones right there. You can see the huge decreases. And that's the whole thing they got in mind for each and every single one of these volatiles and all of these different carbon producers. We want to keep seeing those steady decreases. More here for the VOC, SO, and CO. Huge decrease in CO. That's what you want to see in the red here. So as long as they keep going as their projected models are saying, by 2050, hopefully one day Texas won't be the worst state anymore for the greenhouse gas production, but we do produce a lot of our own energy, as well as we're number one for oil production here within the United States, which produces a lot of methane and a lot of other greenhouse gases going into our atmosphere. Important thing is both San Antonio and Texas have a plan to reduce our greenhouse gases, and these are the resources that I use to find said plans and show that there is going to be a change, and hopefully we can get rid of that steadily increasing temperature throughout the world, especially throughout Texas. If you want more data, I mean, I have different articles here listed that were pretty helpful and pretty useful and found pretty interesting. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate you, and y'all have a good day.